do is just get together with you, a bunch of people that are in general practice, and hopefully just give everyone here an opportunity to support each other and to be here for each other, ask questions, bring up different scenarios, different experiences, and share those with everyone. And this is all very unjudgmental. So don't feel that someone's going to come down on you for anything that you say or any opinion that you have. There may be varying opinions here, but this is just to get the words out that we are feeling, and share them together, and kind of hit on some of the topics that we're all facing right now with this crisis. So after a meeting that I had Sunday with my mastermind group in the academy, and another small meeting like this that we had Sunday afternoon on Zoom, that one of the questions that come up and is commonly talked about is protocol for different things. And one thing that I'll start off with that we actually I've seen as questions online since that time, and that is in general practice, especially euthanasia, and trying to maintain the relationship with the client, who often wants to be right there with the pet. And so that kind of compromised one of our participants, in that she had 3 euthanasias on one day, and she was forced to get really close to provide that service because the owner wanted to be right there with the pet. So, you know, they place catheters, and there's a catheter there, and I think all of you guys probably do that as well. But the thing that came out of that was you don't really have to be that close if you use an extension, an IV extension for the injection. So that's one way that you can get around that. And I know you guys are doing everything that you can to try to minimize contact with the clients. And so I'd like to hear what you guys are doing. So anybody that wants to mention that, just go ahead, and for now, just unmute yourself, and we'll discuss it. So we got David, Jennifer, glad to have you guys, 2 of my Academy members. Glad you're here. Mark, good to see you from Sunday. Mark and I had a one-on-one Sunday initially. Had kind of a makeshift meeting, and it was just he and I for a short period of time. So who wants to talk about what they're doing in that respect to maybe minimize any contact that you're having with the clients? I know some of you are not in general practice. Annie, why don't you or Jennifer, if you would, Annie, why don't you talk about what we are planning on doing? We're not actually seeing cases, and haven't seen cases just by design. We do cases 2 weeks a month, and we've been off for 3 weeks. We won't start until next week, but we've been watching what everybody else does, and we've kind of gotten that in a bit of a protocol. Not that it's written out yet, but we kind of know what we're going to do. So Annie, would you mind talking about that and explaining what we're going to do, and then anybody else that wants to jump in can.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. If anybody wants to kind of jump in here, just because we have not seen cases as of yet since all of this started. So this is going to be new for us. So any tips or tricks are certainly welcome at this point. We're following the protocols that most practices are doing, where no one is coming in the building at this point. It's more or less curbside service, and communicating via phone. And most of the patients that we see are new. They're new consults, new patients that we've never seen before, that we typically will have Brett sit with first and chat, and then we admit the patient for the day. So this is going to be a little bit challenging, especially for those folks that we've never met before, to try and still have that kind of, relationship, but we are going to have to do it via phone. So of course we've notified everybody ahead of time that this is going to be the protocol. And I have had one person so far cancel because her dog is very, very nervous, and she needs to stay with her dog pretty much the entire time. And there was no way she was going to let us take her dog from the car from her, she said the dog would be traumatized and would never get in the car again, which makes sense. But that's our big kind of protocol that we're laying down, that, you know, we just come out to the car. One person is assigned to get patients from the car. It's going to be me, and bring those patients in. And we're making sure that these patients are completely naked when they come in, no harnesses, collars, you know, little coats, anything like that, to minimize as much, you know, transfer as possible. And then of course we're gloves, masks, all of that same protocol. So we'll kind of have to see how next week goes. Mostly everybody that I've contacted has been completely on board with their protocols, and they still want to have their pets seen, because some of these pets are uncomfortable and have been uncomfortable, and people don't want to wait. And then I have had a few that have canceled and said, why don't we just wait until all this kind of blows over, which, you know, we're certainly flexible with that. But that's where we're at this point.